Hello, my name is Lauren, and this is my educational infomercial on the leading causes of death in the United States. I'll be focusing on number 3 and number 4. Number 3 is chronic lower respiratory disease, and number 4 is accidents. Between 18 to 24-year-olds, number 3 would be homicides, and number 4 is malignant neoplasms, or also known as cancer. Let's start with chronic lower respiratory disease. These are chronic diseases of the airways and lungs like asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and pulmonary hypertension. COPD is the primary one, though referring to things like emphysema, chronic bronchitis, and sometimes asthma. Accidents are unintentional injuries that weren't planned, the most common ones being car crashes, falls, fires, drownings, poisonings, and aspirations. Homicide is the killing of a person by another person, and malignant neoplasms is cancer. Cancer is pretty much when there is an abnormality with the cell, and it causes it to continuously divide at a rapid pace. Cancer occurs in all humans and animals alike, really. It doesn't really matter. With COPD, 9.3 million people are diagnosed a year, looking at about 3.8% of the population. Looking at emphysema, it kills 7,249 people, or about 2.3 of every 100,000. Chronic lower respiratory disease, including asthma, kills over 155,000 people, 48.2 of every 100,000 or so. Excluding asthma, it kills 143,000 people, about 44.7 of every 100,000. Looking at accidents, it kills about 146,000 people, 45.6 of every 100,000. Falls amount to over 33,000 of those. Car accidents are almost 38,000. And looking at poisonings, we're looking at more than 47,000 of all accident deaths. Obviously unintentional poisoning, so not purposefully killing somebody with poison. That would go under homicides. Speaking of homicides, they amount for over 17,000 deaths, with almost 13,000 of those being from firearms, which is about 4 per every 100,000. Cancer is a huge one, totaling over 591,000 in the year 2014. Some individual cancers are bladder cancer, and over 72,000 people are diagnosed, with about 16,000 dying. Bladder cancer, men are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed. Breast cancer is much more prominent in women. Almost 240,000 women get breast cancer, whereas only about 2,000 men do. Cervical cancer used to be one of the most common, but thanks to pap smears, it no longer is, with 12,500 people being diagnosed and only about 4,000 dying. Lung cancer kills most people, killing over 155,000 people and over 255,000 people being diagnosed. Prostate cancer is very prevalent in men, with over 172,000 being diagnosed, but only about 28,000 dying. So, a lot are diagnosed, but not too many die. Looking at the demographics per 100,000 people, you can see that chronic lower respiratory disease is most prevalent in white males and much less prevalent in Hispanics and Asians. Accidents are much more common in males as well than females. I'm sure there's something funny about that. And it's much more common in both the white and American Indians, which I thought was very interesting. Homicide is much more common in black males and hardly common at all in Asians, and cancer really affects everyone pretty equally, as you can see. But again, Asians are on the much lower end comparatively. Going back to the 18 to 24-year-olds, per 100,000 people, you can see that homicide is much more prevalent in males than it is in females, which is also true for cancer, which we did see earlier, so it's not very much different than in adults or just the rest of the population.